YouTube, it's Lindy and Dusty coming to you from the Bauji apartment tonight, and I thought today I would talk about things I don't like about teaching ESL in China. I'll make a flip side video in the next couple days about things I do like about teaching in China. And before I get into this, I just want to say that I teach at a thing after school, so the kids will go to their regular school from 8 to 5, and then they come and hang out with me for more help with English. Maybe this would be different if I worked at an actual school instead of just an after school. But like I said, they go to school from 8 to 5, and that's something I think is ridiculous, is the amount of pressure that is put on these kids. They are little kids. I have students that are 6 years old, and they go to school all day, and then they're expected to come and do English with me. And I think that's ridiculous. They have homework to do on top of this. And I'm like, when do you guys play? When do you guys sleep? When do you, watch TV? Do kid stuff? And I don't really know. I've talked to people that have grown up here, and they said basically by the time you're in 4th grade, your life consists of school, homework, and occasionally sleeping. That's all they do. They don't get to go to the mall and hang out. They don't do birthday parties. They don't do things where you run around and just be kids. And I feel really sorry for them that there's so much pressure put on these kids. And this is something that my school does, and I didn't find out about this until I'd been here for a while. But the kids have quizzes. Each book we do takes about somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 months. And there's 4 quizzes during that time period, and there's 2 tests. I guess for the quizzes, if the kids get below an 85, the Chinese teacher's pay gets cut 20 kwai. That is ridiculous. So in turn, they put pressure on the kids to do well, and I think there's a lot of dishonesty that goes on, because I was giving a kid a test, and I asked, what color is this? This kid could not tell me what color the desk was to save their life, so I had to mark it wrong. And the Chinese teacher came and saw it and said, oh, they can do better than that. And I'm like, hey, come here. What color is this desk? And they still didn't know. And the Chinese teacher says, oh, then you have to say it for them. Oh, it's blue. What color is it? It's blue. I don't call that taking a test. I call that spoon-feeding them answers. And I understand why they do it. If their money gets docked, it makes sense to do it. But then the kid's not learning. Luckily, I'm under contract, and it's stated that my salary is $7,000 a month. So even if they were to all just fail, I would be okay. But I just don't think that's fair. But I do understand that's what the teacher signed up for when they said that they would work here. And I think that in turn puts pressure on the kids, and that just sets up for dishonesty. And with kids, if you put that much pressure on them, it's gonna come out somehow. I know China has a pretty high suicide rate here for adults and older teens, but for little kids, I know suicide really doesn't cross people's minds until they're 12, that you don't really get it. So I've noticed with some of the kids, if they're not understanding, they'll bully the other kids. This happened just a couple days ago. I was playing a game with the kids, and I call it hot seat. What I do is I'll have 2 hot seats, and I divide the kids into 2 teams. And the ones that are in the hot seats are competing against each other. Don't worry about the other kids. Worry about the kid in the other seat. The first one to get the question right gets 2 points for the team. If you're sitting in the not hot seat area and you're the first one out of all the other kids not sitting in the hot seat area to get it right, you get 1 point. First team to 25 wins. And there is this kid. He is really not the strongest English student, and I do feel sorry for him, because it's pretty clear he doesn't speak English. And I brought that up with the Chinese teacher. Hey, why are we starting him at level 3 when he doesn't speak English? I think we should put him at level 1. And she said that, oh, he's already 9 years old. We can't put him in the class with the younger kids that are 4 or 5 because he'd feel really weird and it would just be awkward. And, oh, his family's rich, so be nice to him. That does not help him at all. If he doesn't learn, he's not going to stay, or if his parents make him stay, he's not going to be happy, and he's still not going to learn. And I just think it's a mess And it's not about the kid learning, it's about the financial gains. So this kid who's still a bit older than the other ones in the class, he's 9 and the other ones are maybe 7 or 8, and he's a lot taller and like just bigger than the other ones, so it's pretty obvious he wasn't getting the first place when he was answering the questions. So when he was walking back to his seat, he says something to this little girl, and she just starts bawling, like tonsils flapping, the red eyes, like the shoulders, like. And I'm like, hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? I guess he told this little girl that she was slow. Oh my God, kid. Oh my God, kid. It's clearly displacement. And I know that's a valid psychological thing that some people do. But no, leave her alone. Leave her alone. Work on you. And do I understand why he does it? Yes, he's trying to take the attention away from him and he wouldn't have all this pressure put on him. It's just the whole system that's a mess that needs to get fixed. So that's just something I don't like. Something else I don't like is the textbook we use. Like I said, I work at an after-school school, so similar to what we would have in the States, like a Kumon or a Sylvan, we have our own school's textbooks. I hate those things. I hate those so much. They're not accurate. For level 3, there's a little scene where the kids go to buy candy, and it says, how much is this? It's $10. Oh, I only have $5. Sorry. Insert other kid's name here has $5 too. Here you go. Thanks. Now we have $10. Thank you. Enjoy the candy. Okay, that's fine. I have candy to have them act it out with, but what I don't like is that book shows the kids paying with a $5 coin. In America, there is no $5 coin. We have a $1 coin, but we do not have a $5 coin. I went back to America for Chinese New Year, since the whole country basically shuts down, and I made sure to get a $5 bill so I could show the kids that this is what this looks like, and then have them act it out with actual candy and a $5 bill, and they get candy if they get it right. That's for the little kids. For the slightly older kids, it shows them in a house where they're just hanging out, and it shows them with socks on their feet and slippers on, just walking around. American homes have carpet. It also talks about mopping the floor all the time. I grew up in Wisconsin. We had tile in the kitchen, but in our living room, there was carpet. In the bedrooms, carpet. In any room that was not the kitchen or the bathroom or the hallway, carpet. Chinese homes do not have carpet, so I can see how they would make that mistake if the person writing the book was a Chinese person and had never been to America. So that just kind of bothers me, and it's clear that the story takes place in America because there's a section later about writing letters, and the address on the envelope is somewhere Pasadena, California. So, okay, this is taking place in America. I think you need to make the houses American houses. And there's another scene where they go into the gas station and they're just buying little snacks, and there's I don't know what you'd call it, like a little heat and eat thing where you can get rolls. That's a Chinese thing. I've never gone to the gas station in America and seen a little heat and eat thing with buns and rolls on the counter by where you pay. That's a Chinese thing. And I told the kids, we have donuts in American gas stations, but they're gonna be cold unless you got there when the truck gets there. That's a Chinese thing, and this book was written by somebody who's never been to America. Something else in that book, which I think contributes to the pressure on the kids. There's some little story, and it says, insert kid's name here, is a good student. She's never late for school. She always helps clean the blackboard. She always walks home with her friends. And I'm like, oh my God, shut up. Like, seriously, shut up. And I told my students, I said, I'm a teacher. I don't like students like that. Because you know what? If you get along really, really well with everybody, if you're a nice kid, that's great. But what I've noticed is my students that are really, really good at getting along with people, they tend to not be the best at English. The ones that are good at English, they tend to not really get along with the other kids that well. The ones that are really athletic tend to have other things. What I'm saying, is nobody's good at everything, and I think that's really bad to put that kind of pressure on a kid. I remember learning French when I was like 12, and it talked about this girl who was petite and blonde and perfect and liked boys. I knew that was not me being kind of solid and a redhead and thinking they all should go and die. That made me feel like crap. So I made sure to tell the kids that that's not real. Nobody's like that. The person who wrote the book has no clue what the hell they're talking about. So don't worry about it, guys. Nobody's perfect. If you make mistakes, that's fine. In fact, if you're always perfect, you're probably really weird and have dead animals in your room. Yeah, that's not normal. That's not normal. And I really, really, really don't like that book. Something when I change jobs that I'm going to have as a requirement is I want textbooks that were written in America that actually know what they're talking about. So, while we're talking about school stuff, and this could just be me being in a small town, but a lot of the teachers don't speak English, and you'd think this is a school that is supposed to teach them English. That's all that we focus on. We don't do math, we don't do science, we don't do anything that's not English. I heard a teacher giving a kid a test, and it was blah, 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 dio, blah, 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 and I'm like, what? What? And I said, hey, like, what word were you just trying to say? And she said, dio. And I'm like, what? What? She was trying to say style. And I'm like, oh my God, you're teaching kids, and they're going to learn the wrong thing. And I've had Chinese teachers helping each other, and that's nice. Like, helping each other is great. It's not great when you're teaching your coworkers the wrong thing, and then they in turn teach the kids. Example, in this book series that I just hate so much, it was talking about how we say blah, 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 est. In there, I was like, what? What? It was talking about the verb sloppy, or no, that's not a verb, that's an adjective, sorry. And it's like sloppy, and it said more sloppily. Okay, I would say sloppier, but I guess if you're speaking like super polite English, that's not wrong. But it said the most sloppiliest, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Most sloppiliest? And I'm like, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. Because if I were to teach that, I would say, this is the sloppiest whatever it is. And there was something else that I can't remember right now, but it was not right. And I brought that up to the Chinese teacher. I said, hey, like, this is not correct. Don't teach them that. And she went and told the head Chinese teacher, and then I got yelled at for saying bad things about the school. No, I never said anything bad about the school. I just said that this is not right. And as a native English speaker, I'm telling you that that's not right. And that just did not go over very well. But the thing is, I'm under contract. So unless I like punch somebody in the face, which I wouldn't, they can't fire me. And I do care about the kids learning correctly. So I'm going to teach them the correct way, and they're just going to have to live with it. And this is like the last thing I'm going to talk about. And for me, this is annoying. For other people, this might work perfectly well. But the scheduling, and like I said, this is an after-school thing, so I understand why it is this way. But on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I teach either for an hour and a half or for 45 minutes, and it's really not that bad. You can go out during the day and do other stuff, and everything is wonderful and fine. The weekends are another story. There are tons of classes in there. You don't get a break. You're constantly running, and on Sunday night, we're just dead. I would rather it be spaced out, maybe have like 2 or 3 classes during the 5 days instead of having one, and then the storm coming. So that's just me, and I understand that's why it is how it is. So maybe that's something else I should think about when I look for another job. So that's really about it. I do like living here. I'm happy here. But those are just some of the things that kind of drive me nuts. And if I had a magic wand and I could go like, dink, I would change. Okay, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions about teaching ESL in China, let me know, and I will answer them. And you have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.